Hi, friends. Hi. My name's host Eric. I'm the host of Talking Fence People, and this is another in an ongoing series of videos in which I shit upon commonly held perceptions. Today's commonly held perception that I'm shitting upon is that Elon Musk is somehow a smart person. Now, sure, hi Octavia Soul. Sure, I covered this topic the other day in my video, Socrates, History's First Teacher. But as I said on that video day, I was going back and forth between two titles. Socrates, History's Worst Teacher. And Elon Musk, very dumb man. Elon Musk probably has horrible breath. That might be the case, but I don't really have any reason to believe he has bad breath. But I do have ample reasons to believe that he's very, very dumb. Hi, other self. I wonder if I'm going to get a strike for bullying Elon Musk. For calling him dumb. Can you get a strike for bullying Elon Musk? I got a strike for bullying C.S. Joseph. What type is Elon? He's called a DUMB. An extremely dumb person who thinks his incredibly stupid ideas are smart. I think he's an ENTJ. I mean, all you have to do to determine definitively that Elon Musk is a very dumb person is look at a few things. First of all, he named his kid E-I-E-I-O. X-A-E-I-O or something like that. Old MacDonald had a farm, X-E-I-A-O or whatever his name is. If you name your kid something dumb like that, you're dumb. Okay, it's a stupid thing to name your kid. Okay, well, marketing. Sure, you could call it all marketing. And that would be the sign of somebody who's incredibly stupid, who's devoted their whole life towards marketing. You could say shooting a car into outer space is a good idea because it's marketing. You could say surprising everyone with your brilliant revelation that we should build a big tunnel under Los Angeles is a good idea. You could, because it's marketing somehow. You could say that Elon Musk is smart because it actually was a good idea to make electric cars. It just wasn't his idea at all. But, I mean, the fact is, Elon Musk is a complete moron. He's one of the stupidest people I've ever encountered in my life. He's one of the stupidest, hugely successful people I've ever encountered or heard of even. He's never had any good ideas. And almost everything he says is either wrong or half-baked. You know? Okay, well, good news, dumb genius. I'm not attributing to Elon Musk any smartness. So he's just dumb. He doesn't have the genius part. He's just dumb. He's a dumb man. Like, think about his comments about Bitcoin the other day when he's like, holding Bitcoin is less dumb than holding cash. You know, that's absolutely only potentially true if you're sitting on a large amount of wealth you plan to sit on for a while because you think crypto is going to appreciate at least a little bit, while fiat currency will forever be subject to about a 2 to 3% depreciation over time, as we've got inflation in check. So it's not like fiat currency is depreciating dramatically because of inflation. I mean, talk about an unnuanced view of things. Gas has gone up to about $3.50 a gallon. But it's weird. I don't drive that much anymore, so I rarely have to fill the tank. Absent. See? Got a big hole over there. No teeth. There's a teeth you should be. And the truth is, when I go in on the 8th, I'm going to discuss with them a very uncomfortable possible reality, which is, because they warned me last time that those teeth may be the ones that are the most urgent problems, but I've got a lot of other problems, and it might actually make the most sense if I'm going to have to get a partial denture to just have the rest of them yanked out and get dentures, So I'm going to talk to the dentist on the 8th and I'm not sure that this is the end of this process. Franny Kerlampoli says, it's been long since I've watched one of your lives. Well, welcome back. They are the most important things that history has ever offered. I don't doubt that the dentures are a pain after you so much. The thing is, I'm going to have them no matter what. Like, I'm going to have a partial denture here if we just go with the existing plan, which I'm going to have to take out every night and put in the morning, I agree they're a pain. But, which is why I'm thinking, if I'm going to get a partial now and then have to get another set pulled out and another partial later, and another set pulled out, another partial later, why don't I just get them all pulled out and get a full set of dentures now, The other thing is, my teeth have given me problems for my entire life. From early on in childhood, they give me problems. I was not born with good teeth. And even if I was born with good teeth, my grandmother messed it up by giving me tetracycline when I was a baby. And, or not when I was a baby, but when I was a kid, when my adult teeth were coming in. And that damages your teeth. Nowadays, they don't give tetracycline to children anymore because of that. But my grandma, being an old school pharmacist, who believed that being a pharmacist meant she got to have all the drugs at home too. My grandma was a huge Percocet addict. Anyway, Eric occurs every time a cat makes it to life 10. That is one of the nicer things that anybody's ever said to me, horse mumbler. That's a beautiful sentiment. I like the idea of a cat making it to life 10. It's like, Morgan, wasn't that your 9th life, just last life? I earned a free life. I performed so well with my meowing in this life that I earned an extra life. I mean, ENTJs are the most effective types, but the thing I'm trying to do with saying Elon Musk is dumb is to remind us that the TE people already have lots of great adjectives, right? They've got lots of great adjectives. They've got effective, they've got successful, they've got rich, they've got mover shaker, they've got all kinds of shit going on. So they shouldn't be afforded the term smart as well. Elon Musk is not a smart person. He's not a smart person. You have to be incredibly dumb to push through your dumb ideas to fruition, all the way to fruition, into massive success. He pushed through his total lack of good ideas into massive success. And selling people on the fact that they're going to get it done. The thing is, they are going to get it done. That's what it means to be TENI. And there is something very powerful about that. But it's important for us to remember that that's not intelligence. Because otherwise, we have somebody like Elon Musk who's got way too much sway in the culture, right? What he says carries way too much weight, considering he never says anything but a bunch of stupid shit. So let's deny him that term. He can be smart. I mean, he can be effective. He can be successful. He can be even insightful regarding what's going to sell. But calling that man smart is insane. His ideas include things like naming his kid XAEIO, shooting a car into outer space, coming up with the brilliant ideas of making electric cars, which we already had, coming up with a brilliant idea of going to outer space, which we were already doing, coming up with the incredibly horrible idea of digging a giant tunnel under Los Angeles when there are countless better solutions immediately in one's extroverted intuition grasp. Yeah, and of course, it is also true that sea level is a factor as well. Sean O'Neill points out all those things made him more fame and more money. That's true. That makes him effective, makes him bumble dumbing his way into success. It doesn't make him smart. And we've got to start denying people like that the term smart. People who are successful are not smart unless they're also smart. He and his brother lived in their office and slept under their desks for at least a year when getting started totally into J. Right. So, yeah, if you're devoted towards, implementing your plan above all else, then you're going to be successful. Even if it is deliberate or calculated, those are dumb things to prioritize. I divide the population of cognitive function groups into meta-analysts, analysts, executives, and executors. The meta-analysts being INTP, ENTP, INFJ, ENFJ. The analysts being INTJ, ENFP, ISTP, and ESFJ. The executives being ESTP, INFP, ENTJ, and ISFJ. Thank you, Bubble Puppy. And then the executors are the ones that have the two physical functions first. So that's your ISFP, ESFP, ESTJ, ISTJ. Well, look at David Berlinski. David Berlinski is a truly smart person. And whether or not he's unsuccessful enough to be called the anti-Musk. I'm not sure, but he is definitely a million times smarter than Elon Musk. David Berlinski is an INTP and somebody who I've never heard him say something dumb. And I've never heard Elon Musk say something smart. Yeah, David Berlinski is an INTP. Well, he's TE, not FI. Yes, FI is in the front of his stack, but it's in fourth. He's TE, which means planning and completing plans are values in and of themselves. So it doesn't matter if the plan is a good idea in any sense other than if it can be rendered into business success. Well, like I'm saying, Boba Fett, it's fair to deny Elon Musk the word smart because TE smart has so many other correct words to describe it. He's effective, he's driven, he's focused, he's got strong resolve, he's persistent, he's bold, he's shameless in his claim making. He's got a lot of things that help him to be successful. Intelligence is not one of them, and we shouldn't afford him that label. No, he's not. He's very dumb. That's the thing, Raphael. Thank you for bringing that up. This is one way we know that he's not smart. He got no place first, right? He wasn't the first person to make electric cars. He wasn't the first person to go to outer space. He wasn't the first person to make a flamethrower. He wasn't the first person to name his kid something crazy. He wasn't the first person to come up with the stupid idea of digging a tunnel. He wasn't the first person to do anything. He claims to be another Tesla, but he's just another Edison. No, he's definitely unwise as well, but he's also dumb. Let's not mince words. Elon Musk is dumb. He is not a smart person. He has no good ideas. Well, the point is, if we're going to use the word smart, and we're going to use it for TE, we are denying the proper purview of TI people. TINE is smart. TENI is effective. It's like you can absolutely slam me all you want for being ineffective, for lacking directionality, follow through, resolve, or whatever other thing, right? And that's fair. It's fair, right? And it's also fair to say that just as I am smart but not effective, he is not smart, but he is effective. I think INTPs struggle with that, yeah. I think that INTPs struggle with that a lot more than ENTPs do, because INTPs are more aware of people not understanding them than ENTPs are. No, it doesn't. Absolutely not, Raphael. It does not take a lot of smartness to be effective in that way. It takes a lot of effectiveness. It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, discipline. Absolutely discipline, yes. Stick-to-itiveness, persistence, resolve, clarity of directionality. Even if it's a bad idea, sticking with it all the way through. Don't change your horses in midstream. It takes all that stuff, most of which is contrary to being smart. I really actually think his best idea was the flamethrower. And the reason that's a good idea is because he found a a way to undermine firearms legislation without making a firearm. I will tell you this. Elon Musk, it might also be better at predicting what people are going to buy than me. If you had asked me, is this going to be successful? Make and sell flamethrowers? I would have said no. So in that regard, Elon Musk is better than I at predicting what's going to be successful. Still doesn't make him smart. And we've got to reserve the word smart for actual smart people, because there are actual smart people in the world. You know, like I'm actually a smart person with good ideas and correctness. But what I'm not is an effective person with a lot of success and voice and a big pulpit to speak from, right? So, and this is true for NTPs across the board. So we do need to reserve the word intelligent or smart for people who are actually smart or intelligent, and not throw it around sloppily towards smart and intelligent are basically the same thing. Smart and intelligent are not the same thing as wise. That's true. But smart and intelligent are basically the same thing. I mean, even if I agree with Musk on certain things, that doesn't mean he's smart. Well, they're correct, Raphael. See, that's the thing that you tend to reject, is the idea that there's a vector called correctness. And that's something that dumb people do. It's common. So don't feel bad. It's common for people like you to dismiss things that don't have concrete impacts, because you don't value meaning very much. That's true. I mistyped my partner for the longest time. Whoa, 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 whoa. For the longest time. Well, I got to say, Scott Steiner, you are lacking in highly effective skills. Because even though you're the world's greatest ring announcer, I've never heard of you. Well, of course you do, Raphael. You're just expressing your TE bias. What I'm saying is, I'm not denying the value of TE. I'm saying it should have its set of adjectives to describe it, which should not include smart. Intelligence doesn't mean high IQ. IQ is a test that purports to measure intelligence. You know what song I've been singing a lot lately? Pork and Beans by Weezer. I had not heard it until maybe a month ago or something, in which Rachel played it for me. And it makes me so happy to listen to that song, because the guy who's in charge of Weezer is an INFJ, clearly. And Pork and Beans represents to me a moment where where he overcame his INFJ neuroticism and just said, fuck it. And it makes me so happy. I mistyped Genexial. How you managed to miss just how remarkably terrible his TI is confusing me, to be honest. What type do you think he is? I've not found his TI to be terrible at all. Yeah, I do think Eric Weinstein might be an ISFJ. I don't think I even typed Genexial, did I? Right. Yeah, you go to Ivy League colleges and you're going to see a bunch of dumb people. Because the fact is, It's a good question, Octavia Silva, and a useful point to make. So when Rachel and I went fishing, and I tried to creatively make the bad spot into a better spot, that was bad TE. It was prioritizing NETI smartness when I should have prioritized effectiveness. I was trying to be clever and smart with something that wasn't suited to cleverness and smartness. Fishing is not suited to cleverness and smartness. It's suited to good TE. Being clever and smart won't help you catch any fish. So in that instance, NI says not that here's how we TE this. Like if Rachel had used TE, she would have helped me to better change the existing thing into a fishing spot where we could fish. Instead, she used NI. We wouldn't have these problems if we were over there. So that's not really solving a problem that requires any kind of ordinality. It's instead recognizing an obvious truth. So right. And so those things, knowledge is also not intelligence. Like an SITE person would probably be a better fisherman than a TE. I mean, than an NITE person, right? An SITE person will become a better fisherman than an NITE person because fishing is a lot about muscle memory and things like they say right here. Hero Lamb says, mating season, where the fish are biting, things like that. You know, things that you develop knowledge over time. Scott Steiner says he uses NI a lot when I smoke meats. I have that hunch that it's done. I would suggest that maybe NI or maybe SI. Body clock stuff, having a sense of its time, is usually SI, but that doesn't mean you're SI front stack. Like, let's say you're an NI Dom. Well, I don't know. Like Rachel uses timers for everything. So when she puts the laundry in, she sets a timer for herself for when it's time to change it. Because she doesn't trust herself to have that. But of course, that's laundry. It's not like food. Food, you have to take it out when it's done, or else it'll burn. So I don't know. I'm not sure what to say about that. There's no weed in here. I'm not gonna smoke. Yeah, I love Les Stroud. He's an ISTJ, I think. He's a really FE smooth ISTJ, and I love Survivor Man. I watched it back when I had TV. Like, you know, I had like full ass cable with DVR and stuff. I think a lot of INTPs are lonely. Yeah, I do think so. I'm not familiar with that bouncy test, so. I mean, okay, Horse Farmer, I don't think I typed him. I think he said he was ISTP, and I just took it at face value. I don't think I've ever typed him. Kevin Chen, you're looking at this because you're looking at Teslas. Well, look, I'm not saying Teslas are bad cars or that it's a bad idea to buy a Tesla. I'm saying that Elon Musk is a dumb person. That doesn't mean he doesn't make good stuff. Maybe he does make good stuff. I don't know. I've driven behind Teslas before. They seem fine. How is he dumb? Well, I would just go over my main points again. We look at his ideas that he's had. They're all terrible ideas. Or not his ideas. His big initial thing was, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make electric cars. They were already being made by other companies. Not a new idea. The next thing he did was he said, hey, let's go to outer space. We're already going to outer space. That's not a new idea. He had the brilliant notion to dig a giant tunnel under Los Angeles. Thought so highly of this moment of folly that one has while driving in LA, that everyone has while driving in LA, right? This moment of folly. One goes, gosh, I wish there were a big tunnel under here. And he took it as a good idea worth announcing to the world. That is a dumb, dumb man. Shut a car into outer space. There are no roads in outer space. Dumb, dumb man. Not a smart person. No matter how much you like his car. You know, his car might be fantastic. See, that's what I'm trying to get at. This is what I'm trying to get at. Being rich does not mean you're not dumb. Being successful, being a highly successful businessman is not a form of intelligence. It's a form of effectiveness. We already knew things could orbit Mars. We already knew that planets could have satellites around them. That's not showing us anything. And the thing is, I'm not even anti Elon Musk at all. Okay, don't get me wrong. I don't have anything against Elon Musk particularly. What I'm trying to do is get our language straightened out. You can call Elon Musk effective, successful. You can even say he's something of a visionary in being able to predict that his shit he's selling is going to sell and is going to make money. But let's not throw the word smart or intelligent around lightly. Okay? Because those things should not be called smart or intelligent. Why? Why is that our goal, Scott Steiner? Trying to make an effective way to get to Mars without resupplying midway. Why? Isn't he the one who just tweeted something about being a hellhole? No, Biden's not any good. Nobody should think that Biden is good. Exactly. Everything Musk suggests he got from comic books from 1950. Because it's technology that can be used for other projects, mining asteroids. Okay, well, if he successfully solves the problem of how to mine asteroids and get minerals back from the asteroids, then that's not a bad thing. It'll certainly make him richer as he brings back a bunch of gold from outer space. Yeah, it's like mining asteroids, again, not a new idea at all. No, but he's not done anything anybody hasn't already done. You're talking about something he's not doing, mining asteroids. I mean, I disagree that it's necessary for avoiding extinction events on Earth. You have to be a pretty dumb person to buy that assumption. Not talking about you. I'm sorry, Kevin Shin. I didn't mean to insult you there. I'm saying if your idea is the only way we're going to avoid extinction on Earth is to terraform other planets, then you really don't have very much extroverted intuition going on. You're really countervaluing extroverted intuition, because there are a lot of better ways to ensure planetary long-term survival than terraforming other planets. It is not at all clear that terraforming other planets is going to be a meaningful or effective way to relocate population. This Earth is big enough to support a full population of this species. Now, whether that full population can get to be 20 billion, I don't know. So, are there things to be discussed regarding population control? Possibly, but I don't want to start imposing China policies on people. But I don't necessarily think it's a terrible thing that China did that. You know? So the thing is, look, Earth is definitely not doomed in our lifetime. The human species is able to adapt to dramatically extreme conditions. So even if conditions on Earth became climactically a lot more extreme, it wouldn't change the reality that humans could adapt to it. The idea that we're going to be driven into extinction is how is getting to Mars without midway resupply not one of the most stupid possible next goals to have in the space industry? I can think of 20 better. And see, that's why NTPs don't think Elon Musk is smart, because we can think of 20 better ideas in a heartbeat. Space apartments? Who wants to live in a space apartment? I don't. Who wants to live in space? Why would somebody want to live in space? I mean, we're Earth creatures, right? Earth is specially designed to support our 20 ideas better than midway supply to Mars? Okay. Implement multiple instances of space sail vessels going in different directions. Cheap, requires very little propulsion. It gradually accrues speed over time. And affords us a greater reach across the scope of the universe in terms of possibly contacting something or whatever. I think one of the more important things we could do right now would be to explore more the region of Venus in which there apparently is life. There's a band of about a kilometer in Venus's atmosphere that is Cinderella zone, just in the upper atmosphere of Venus, and there's apparently life there. Did you know that? There's like 1 kilometer band worth of the atmosphere in on Venus that is very Earth-like, or within the Cinderella zone temperatures and stuff. And apparently it's some sort of microbe that lives there, dies when it falls into the lower atmosphere, and then I guess winds or something blow up the new spores, which come alive again. That's the hypothesis that I've read. So I'd be really interested in exploring more of that zone, but that would have a lot more scientific meaning. Those are two ideas just off the top of my head. I'm not really going to come up with 20. Bill Nye, I am running as a Republican, but I self-identify as an American citizen. I watched Bill as a kid, loved the show. His resurgence was horrible. You should be ashamed, Bill. Well, that's why I said apparently, Kevin Chen. And why it would be worth exploring more. We'd learn for sure whether or not there was that. Now, if in fact there is that band of sustainable atmosphere there, it would seem plausible that we could get a spaceship to fly around in there, you know? And within that band of a kilometer or whatever. I'd love to find out if that's true. If it is true, that's our best opportunity to get a sample of extraterrestrial life. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. I know that, but I didn't explain it very well. It's called the Goldilocks zone, as in this zone is this close is too hot, this far is too cold, but this zone is just right. That's why it's called the Goldilocks zone. No, I'm fully terrestrial. I don't even have any desire to go to outer space or anything. Like, that doesn't seem interesting to me. It kind of seems interesting to like look down on the Earth, but it's just such a sensory experience. It's like, Although I will say I've had some sensory experiences in my life that have been pretty darn powerful. I'll turn the camera over here because I got to make a pot of coffee so you can still hang out with me while I'm making a pot of coffee. The most specifically the experience I remember, which was a sensory experience, seeing something that had a really big impact on me, was when I traveled to Russia and I first walked into St. Peter's Square. And, you know, the, or Red Square, or whatever they call it. First of all, if you've never been to Moscow and you've never been to Red Square, it's huge. It's like, it's what the name is. It's a big square of like bricks, basically, you know, or cement or bricks or, you know, ground. And then there's like the Kremlin over here, but there's one thing that's still there in the square that's like just sort of standing there by itself, which is St. Basil's Cathedral, which is one of those Russian churches with the oniony things on top, you know? And it's from like 1300. And when I went to Red Square, it was starting to snow. It was November. Snow was falling. And, you know, I was there all dressed warm, and everybody was walking around in their Russian hats and stuff. And it was really a ontology shaking moment. It's like, oh my God, wow. this is weird because, of course, for me, 10 years prior to that, or so, it was still the Soviet Union. So I was there, within 10 years of it not being the Soviet Union anymore. So like all of my knowledge of Russia was from movies and stuff, and seeing scenes of the Soviets being the bad guys and meow. So that was a very impactful sensory experience that I recall, and Gundam 00. Okay, look, if we're all going to get big Gundam suits when we go to outer space, then fine. I'm fine with it. If look, go ahead and invent giant Gundam suits that shoot off into space, and I will happily go fly around the solar system. I might even leave the solar system. I might go as far as, a nearby galaxy like Andromeda or something. I've always wanted to visit Andromeda. But see, I'd much rather, instead of being in a world of Gundam suits, I'd rather be in the world of, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? That's a fun world. I really like that world. The gods have come down to Earth, and while they're here on Earth, they've forsaken their divine powers, and they only compete against each other via their followers, which they call their families. And the one power that they do use is they like bond you to the god or whatever. Yes, that's true. Richard Branson suggested space travel for consumers way before Elon Musk did. Well, things, I am optimistic in the sense that I believe I will live 2 billion years, but I'm not sure about it. I might not quite make 2 billion. I expect I'll make 1 billion years old, but I'm not sure if I'm going to make 2 billion. Telepathic weaponry. The cat is 2 billion years old. My cat is 2 billion years old. I don't think my cat is 2 billion years old because I was there when she was born. My cat was born in my bed. She's inside with Rachel right now. She probably wouldn't appreciate it if I went and woke her up and brought her out here. The kitty, I mean. Gundams are for weak-ass weebs. I want to summon her. Look, I don't know. I like my anime. I like there to be girls with cat ears and tails. I like there to be elves. I like there to be wizards and swords and the thing that makes me sad about those, I don't like it when they kill the dragons. I always feel bad, like, don't kill the dragon. The soul of my cat is at least 2 billion years old. At least. My cat's soul is as old as the hole in the wall of the oldest wall that has a hole in it. That's pretty old. That picture of Bill Nye, he looks kind of like somebody else. I don't know who it is exactly. Did I push start on the coffee? No. You see what I did over here? See this shit? I was making a pot of coffee. I put the meow in. And then I went back over there and sat down. That's what's called being an intuitard. That's intuitardation in a nutshell right there. Why didn't I finish making the pot of coffee? I don't know. I have no idea why I didn't. And then I sit down, did I push start? I didn't even put the coffee in. Moron. The thing is, even though I'm shitting on Elon Musk for not being smart, when I do TE stupid shit, I call myself a moron all the time. I'm always, God, Eric, you're so fucking stupid. I say that to myself all the time when I do TE dumb stuff like that, you know? So I'm guilty of it too. Intuitard does equal smart, usually, to some extent. Not always. You know, it's not like INFJs are very intuitive, but they're not necessarily super geniusy or whatever. 2 summoners versus 2 timberwolves. See, I don't like it when they kill. I don't mind when they kill orcs, minotaurs. They're fine to die. You know, like the beholders, mimics, were rabbits. I don't care. Kill all those you want. I don't like when they kill wolves. I don't like it when they kill dragons. Are you afraid if you go to space that the Gundam Wing Operation Meteor happens? That's not the top of my list of fears, but thank you for promoting it. I'll try to move it up my fear list a little higher. Fumble Hot, you can have some pub mix. I'll tell you, it's good. Well, I'm talking about in animes that I watch. Like I had to stop watching. Yeah, then it's fine. and I had to stop watching Gold Kayumi or whatever it's called because they kill bears in it, and it makes me sad. He sent a drone into space. That's going to be Elon Musk's new big idea. I've got it! Drones! Well, leaf trimmer. Yeah, I do tend to tap my feet. Apparently shit is going down in the next episode of Attack on Titan. The last episode was, as they've all been, extraordinarily compelling. Now, and this is a sign of me having both very childlike taste in things and also, I guess you'd say, sophisticated taste in things. But Bill Nye, okay. Have you watched Attack on Titan? Did you watch it? Are you watching it currently? If you don't like Attack on Titan, you have terrible taste. I don't know what to tell you, man. Attack on Titan is one of the great shows of all time. I disagree. I think Death Note is overrated. I think AOT is not overrated. I think it's not underrated. Everybody, screams its praises. but it's not overrated. It lives up to the hype. It's one of the few things I can think of that truly lives up to the hype. Every episode of it is just, it's great. And the song in AOT is so evocative. I've loved the fact that they haven't changed the song, you know? You know, that's and then the art and the end of thing, all the war stuff it's so epic. Oh, you're watching the dub? Okay, Bill Nye, I'm going to sort of agree with you there about Naruto being a little overrated, but only because the last 100 episodes or so, if they had done Naruto Shippuden in 200 episodes instead of 500 episodes, it would have been fantastic. But they really stretched it out beyond all tolerance. And by the end, it's like every event that happened included the event and 50 fucking flashbacks to contextualize it, even though you already seen those flashbacks 50 times. So I watched the whole thing. I watched all of Naruto Shippuden. So I will agree with you that it's a little overrated. DBZ? Oh, yeah. Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball is, that's just for children. But yeah, One Piece is also just for children. There are some animes that are just for children, and they're not fun to watch. You know, it's like I don't want to watch Pokemon. Pokemon is kind of funny, like from a SI perspective for me, because I watched it a lot when Delilah was a kid. But Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Battle Monsters, those kind of like card game ones. Well, Pokemon, the original Pokemon is okay. It's kind of funny. The thing is, I watched Pokemon in English, so I can't really evaluate it very well. Dragon testicles are good food for children. That's true. I mean, that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy watching it with Delilah. I did enjoy watching Pokemon with Delilah. I always enjoyed the ridiculous interactions between Nurse Joy and between Nurse Joy and Brock. In fact, that's where I got a lot of my. That's where I got the expression. I don't know if he ever actually said this, but he said something like this all the time. So like, Nurse Joy, your beauty is constantly re-astonishing me again. And so, I think I started saying that expression as sort of a joke about Brock, and then it took on a life of its own. So now whenever I see the kitty and I'm struck by her kitty wonder, I say, oh, your kitty beauty is constantly re-astonishing me again for the first time, always, forever, without stopping. So morning 969 Cuda. Good morning to you. Potato TI users view TE users as fake smart, the way FI users view FE users as fake empathetic. Yes. It's an excellent analogy. That's an excellent analogy. And they're both right. Leaf trimmer, while I don't love your ongoing, continual, never stop combativeness, I do love your use of the word daft. Bill Nye, I'm going to do you something better than that. Instead of just saying my cock, I'm going to show you a Greek god with a cock that you can really write home to about, okay? His name is Priapus. And Priapus is the Greek god of vegetable gardens. Yes, the Greek god of vegetable gardens. He's also famous because of his massive manly member. So of all the Greek gods, Priapus, sometimes spelled Priapos, is known as an ugly god, the god of vegetable gardens, and the god with the big ass penis. You can see this picture of him here. And in this picture, what you're going to see is a man who's clearly very secure in his masculinity. Let me pick a different one. Here's a link. Priapus. The thing I want you to note here is look how girly he's being. He's got a flimsy dress on. He's got a bowl of fruit. You'll notice as well, he has a crane to hold up his member. Now that's a guy who's just like, why would I wear pants? Why would I wear them? I don't think he's a homosexual. I just think he's really, really secure in his masculinity. I mean, wouldn't you be? If you were Priapus, you got to be pretty secure in your masculinity if you were packing like that. You know, I mean, he walks around with no pants on and a flimsy little dress with a bowl of fruit, but he's got a crane to hold up his schlong. Okay, now my coffee's done, so I'm going to get some to drink. Hey, you know, the ancient Greeks, like, who painted that painting and what were they thinking? What were they thinking? Like, I get, okay, you got this god with a big dick, fine. But what's with the crane and the bowl of fruit? And the fruit, I guess, he's a vegetable gardening god. But why the pastel nightie? He's got on like a teddy, you know? What are they thinking? Whoever painted that, what was he thinking? Good news, Martha. I got a commission from the church to paint a mural of God. And she's like, oh, cool, you got any ideas? He sketches it out. This is what I'm thinking. That God invented the tripod. You think it's a scale, not a crane? The fresco is damaged, so you can't see him actually holding it. Okay, so I normally do not approve of rape jokes, but apathy rocks. There's something kind of funny about rape with a dildo made out of Bibles. I don't normally like rape jokes, but that one's pretty good. So, okay, it's a scale. So you mean he's weighing his penis? Horizontal, are you trying to say, no, it's not weird. It's not a crane. It's a scale. He's weighing his penis. Is that what he's doing? I'm not sure that's an unpopular opinion, Scott Steiner. The Greeks and Romans regarded pants as totally barbaric, fit for only such as we Germans themselves. But I want to know what Horsemonger explanation for why he's putting it on a scale. Is he weighing it? Is that kind of scale? I mean, I think Apathy Rocks is a pretty cool name, actually. It's self-defeating, you know. That's what makes it funny. Oh, he's balancing his, that's why he's got the scale. He's balancing his masculinity. That's why he's got on the teddy, the flimsy teddy, and the bowl of fruit. He's trying to make himself gender neutral. To balance against that massive dong, he's gotta get super fruity. Oh, he's weighing something else. His dick is the unit of measurement. Oh, okay. So he's trying to see how many dicks something else weighs. It's about 3/4 of a dick. So you got about 3/4 worth of a dick of cotton here. That's 4,000 golden narcles. The bigger the dong, the more barbaric you were seeing back then. Well, you know, there used to, at first there were, you know, Greeks and Romans and barbarians. And then later barbarians became known as savages when they ceased to be a big threat. Isn't that interesting? Barbarians were barbarians until they became unthreatening, at which point they became savages. Nowadays, nobody refers to like tribes in the jungle as savages. What do you got planned for the summer, Eric? Oh, I'm going to investigate some savages in the jungles of South America. Savages, you say? Yes, savages. I will convert them to Christianity and or enslave them. It depends. And or give them smallpox. They're not all called Conan. They're typically called things like grog, trock, things like that. They've got very caveman-y names. Sandwiches? No, barbarians. Not sandwiches. So if you ever hear someone say it weighs about a preep or two, you'll have a frame of reference and a rough idea for how much that is. That's a lot. How much do you think Priapus's penis weighed in contemporary measurements? Don't tell it to me in cubits, please. What would my barbarian name be? It would be Kroktar. Kroktar the Barbarian. Hey, Kroktar, why aren't you killing these villagers with us? We've gone over this, guys. You are really not respecting the non-aggression principle. I don't believe I've ever said that anime is an intuitive magnet. It's an Eric magnet. And I am one of those grown men who makes leaf trimmer cringe. I'm a grown man who's very into anime. Some people call me a weeb. I find that offensive. I prefer to be called an otaku. Leaf trimmer son, don't make me start calling you leaf trimmer coon. Because I will. I am still a teenager. Not just at heart. All the rest of me is still a teenager too. You're a long way from Sama, mister. A long way from Sama. That's why I like the Apathy Rocks username. Apathy Rocks username is clever. It's successfully clever, right? You know whose username perhaps I was most impressed by, and somebody who still comes around, we talked to him last night. Taylor's old username used to be Change This Later. I really liked that. That was a really clever username. So don't underestimate ESTP's ability to be super clever sometimes too, you know. Redo of Healer is the best anime this season. I haven't seen it, haven't even heard of it, and I'm pretty on top of my anime. But if you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it is not. Talk about completely eliminating from one's calculus SI, right? There's no experience. It's only projection about the future. It's not angsty, it's paradoxical. It's funny. It's funny because he's saying, I have enthusiasm about apathy, but apathy is contradicting the idea of enthusiasm. That's what makes it funny. It's not edgy. It's like email anthrax. It's funny because it's TI insane, right? You can't email anthrax. Why are you confident about why would you possibly be confident about the reasoning and motivations behind which Apathy Rocks named himself? People kept ordering their meat and bread served the same as sandwich, hence the name. You know, I like that. INTJ main character. That sounds like a lot of TE. That sounds like a lot of TE. No, it's not enthusiastic nihilism. It's and probably an NTP wrestling with their identity as they always do, you know? It could be self-deprecating. I could see myself writing that name in a self-deprecating way, making fun of my own continual failure to execute my good ideas. That's not angsty. It's being active in one's ontologizing, you know? Leaf trimmer, you are the most disagreeable person I have ever encountered in my life. You disagree with everything. I didn't hear any Bible jokes. So, okay, I'm not judging his name on anything that he said that I noted. Oh, he made that great Bible joke. That was a pretty funny one, though. That was a pretty good one. As far as shock jock jokes go, that was pretty good. The dildo made of Bibles is a pretty good shock jock joke. Pretty clever. Is leaf trimmer an ENTP? No, not by stereotype. No, absolutely not. A leaf trimmer is not arguing to be argumentative. A leaf trimmer is argumentative because he disagrees with so many people on so many things. And he genuinely disagrees with them. And his positions are not, he is not just being a sophist or anything. This is the thing that I value about leaf trimmer, and I want other people to value as well, is that I trust him. I trust him to not bullshit me. He's genuinely that. This is who he is, and he has strong opinions. He has strong opinions about religion and stuff like that, and also I trust him to, like, on a few occasions he's sort of shout out like, Eric, no, don't trust that other person. They're out. They don't have your best interest in mind. I trust that he's on my side. Not that that's something that I should value very much, maybe, because it's kind of unfair to value that, but I do value it. And I like the fact that whatever else I think about leaf trimmer, I trust him to be him and to not be faking me out. The redo of Healer MC fully merged with his shadow ENTP and goes on a revenge quest. I agree. I value people who aren't bullshitters. The worst is people who are nice stabbers, right? Like, the thing is, I don't want to at all right now shit on Jeff Shaw. But Jeff Shaw is the opposite of leaf trimmer. He's like the mirror of leaf trimmer. Jeff Shaw is almost never honest in how he's communicating. Now, I don't mean to say he's lying. I just mean he's always doing FE bullshit. Okay, RWBY. I think I tried to watch an episode or two of that and was just like, ugh. But I could be, I don't have a clear picture in my head of what it is. So, I can't say for sure. I've seen some terrible, terrible animes as well. There are some really terrible ones. And some extremely strange ones. The strangest one I've ever seen conceptually is the one where there's a sort of regular late 20s single career man in Tokyo who finds a merman by the river, and the merman kind of invites himself home and starts to live in the guy's bathtub. And one day, his octopus friend who's also like like the equivalent of a merman, like half man but half octopus, he comes in there hanging out in the bathtub, and they get the guy to cook for them and stuff. And he's really like, God, the electricity bill is really high because you're always running the warm water in here. It's like, that's like the plot of it. The whole anime takes place in the guy's bathroom. Him talking to this merman who he doesn't really want there, who's living in his bathtub. That has got to be the strangest anime concept I've ever encountered. I mean, there's lots of weird concepts that basically are like little girls running a Panzer tank division. Wouldn't it be cool if we put little girls in tanks and sent them off to war? Wouldn't that be fun? Like the little girl tank division is one of the stranger ones that I've encountered on Crunchyroll. Why? Who would think to make that? I've not seen Tokyo Ghoul. I would recommend one that an anime that many people have never heard of, never seen, but is very good and very worth watching is Gate, Gate. Not Steins Gate, just Gate. It's G.A.T.E. And it's about Japan's self-defense forces invading and conquering a magic world that they're the only ones who have access to. They declare a special region of Japan, which allows them to send their military according to the treaties and stuff. It's really cool because it has like, I mean, it's a fantasy that everybody's thought before, and it's great to see it played out so beautifully, where these barbarians come with dragons and swords and stuff and try to attack Tokyo to justify Japan going in there, which they do. And then they try to attack the defenses that Japan has put up on top of this hill with their combined armies. And there's just this extended scene of machine guns and tanks and stuff mowing down hundreds of thousands of, tens of thousands of enemies, as just modern technology just utterly annihilates the best that the magic world can offer. And it's and then in one of the early episodes of Gate, the Japanese army kills 100,000 soldiers in the world they're invading. Is the Legend of Galactic Heroes happening plausible? I've seen the Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I watched that whole show. It pleases me a great deal for you to have brought it up because it's not a particularly well-known one, and I've actually watched that whole show. I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. You mean, are they going to make another one, another season of it? Because it came to a pretty satisfying end. Blue Sub 6, I have not seen that. No. As far as blues go, I would recommend Blue Exorcist. It's a very good one. I enjoyed that a great deal. The thing is, I really can't watch anime in English. So Crunchyroll has some English anime on there that's first naturally done in English. In other words, it's not dubbed. But I just can't watch it. I could watch Avatar: Last Airbender was the only English anime that I've ever enjoyed. Now that doesn't mean I don't enjoy English American cartoons. I think, things like Rick and Morty and but especially something like BoJack Horseman. BoJack Horseman is America's AOT. It's like it's an epic triumph for the ages. BoJack Horseman is an amazing, amazing show. One of the smartest, most nuanced, and funny, and tragic, and everything shows I've ever seen. I watched some of that. I didn't really get into it, Sean. But maybe I give it another shot. I don't really remember why I didn't stick with it. Midnight Gospel, I haven't seen it. There's BoJack Horseman. I think it's 4 seasons, and it's a complete story arc. So it ends satisfyingly, and like really sticks with you. I do still want to watch Cowboy Bebop. Full Metal Alchemist, I have access to. I just haven't gotten around to starting it. I do plan to watch Full Metal Alchemist, and the only reason I've not already started that one is because, unfortunately, I watched some episodes of it back in the day in English, and I didn't like it very much. And so I think I need to start it properly, because I watched a couple of random episodes, when it was on Cartoon Network. So, yeah, the dev stuff, it kills me. Also, I like the way that watching anime allows me to experience the auditory and the meaning data flows separately. Like I love the sound of Japanese. I love the sound of the Japanese actors and the way that they do the voice acting, and how really over the top it is. It in any like scene where they're just walking through a room, the voice actors will be like, oh, and it's like, nothing happens that doesn't have some sort of reactive sound to it. And because I'm not a native speaker of that language, I just get the FE sound data, right? Although I gradually start to pick up on a little bit of Japanese here and there, but unfortunately I'm too old to whole language acquire a new language at this point, It's like, the funny thing about it, Japanese culture is just hilarious in general. I've learned so much about how Japan perceives itself watching all this anime, and how they perceive themselves so monolithically. Unlike America, Japan truly is a homogenous culture, and they have a uniform understanding of what their culture is and what it means to be Japanese. Now, that causes lots of bad things that communitarianism always causes. Like, they are definitely xenophobic, and they definitely sort of believe being Japanese it's like it's kind of like the Mike Myers skit. You're Japanese or you're shit. You really get the sense that Japan kind of thinks that. But you also understand from watching them how much they appreciate it when they get respect from the West. Like, there's a bit of an aspirational quality to it as well. One way that they sort of Japan ego spank bank in their anime is to have Westerners be very impressed by them. So it's an interesting dynamic, And then in other instances, they'll have they like to have Japanese people beat bigger Westerners to prove, there's a lot of references to height and size and how it doesn't matter and how smaller is better and stuff like that. It's like it's hard to even gather my thoughts about it because I watch so much of it and I have so many thoughts as I'm watching it about how these things link to World War II and stuff. Like so many elements of Japanese culture are informed by World War II and how that played out and seeing how that plays out in their anime is interesting. So many anime feature what are basically nuclear explosions with mushroom clouds and stuff. They're almost never actually nuclear explosions, with the exception being in Hunter x Hunter. But there's this ongoing battle between the varying preeminent values in Japanese culture. One of them being team playeriness. You've got to be a team player. Another one being having something precious, FI, like you have to have something precious to protect. And another value being resolve, NI clarity. You need to have clarity about what you want to do and be and devote yourself to that in all manner of thing. But then they also have this view of themselves as a post-World War II sort of humanitarianly realized culture. They have, like in Gate, for example, one of the things that happens is that the local prostitutes complain that none of the Japanese men will patronize their business from the army because they're so good. It's such a good modern humanitarian army trying to win hearts and minds, trying to obey contemporary society's expectations of morality and stuff. Leaf Trimmer, that's just an incredibly uninformed thing to say. Leaf Trimmer says, Eric, anime is too flashy and intense. Seems like it's perfect for those with short attention spans. I mean, I would say when we're talking about attention span stuff, right? It's like, well, you're generalizing massively. There are some that may be like that, but regardless, the thing is, I don't want to be patient with media, and you don't either. Nobody does. Nobody wants to be bored by their media. So if you're saying, well, it's for short attention spans, well, I mean, I don't want to be bored. I want things to move quickly. That doesn't necessarily mean I have a short attention span. It means I want my media to be well made. So this is a very interesting question about the nuclear bombing of Japan at the end of World War II. Which the basic question is, was it a moral act? Forget the question of whether race is too. It's a stupid way to frame the question. Was it a moral act or was it wicked, to use nuclear bombs at the end of World War II on Japan? That's a really tough question to answer, and a really good question, and a really interesting thing to think about. There's plenty of good reason to believe that if we were going to end the war with Japan by making them surrender, or in other words, by defeating them, rather than just allowing them to retreat to their island and just end the war with them still intact, if we were going to end that war with them defeated, then there's a lot of good evidence that suggests nuking them twice probably saved lives and hardship overall because of the nature of the culture. And I mean, Japan had never been defeated in its history until the end of World War II. It had been the conquering nation that always won until the end of World War II. And so they were deeply, deeply embedded in their warrior culture. And there was good reason to believe that a actual invasion of Japan would have resulted in grisly street-to-street fighting to the last man. In my opinion, the nuking of Japan was a good decision. And it was a good decision because it invalidated their culture so utterly. There is no honor, no skill, no warrior's pride, no courage, no resolve, no training, no nothing that can stand in the face of a nuclear blast. And all of a sudden, your warrior culture is utterly invalidated. It was arguably not moral for Truman to authorize their use because Japan had already sought surrender under the terms we ultimately accepted. I didn't know that. I had no idea that was true. I take your word for it. I'm assuming you're not just making it up. I had no idea that was the case. That's a huge gap in my knowledge on this issue. I did not know that. Japan had already sought surrender under the terms we ultimately accepted. Wow. I mean, that definitely resolves the moral issue against, for sure. I'd always heard that they were prepared to fight to the last man, but there was not going to be any surrender. I mean, I do understand that there were two camps in the Japanese leadership regarding that matter. So, I don't know. I guess I have to research it now. So now you've got me curious about it. I have never heard that before either. All right. I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for being here. And don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.